The most difficult thing is you wake up and you're just ready to go. I woke up at like 7:30 and my tee time's at 3. So I have all this time to kill and you're like, what do? I have this pit in my stomach and you just have this like, I just want to get there. Went and took the longest coffee breakfast you could ever have. And I drove all the way to Malibu and kind of just did like this pretty drive, hung out, walked around in Malibu, and then drove back. And then as I got back, it was like, okay, we have an hour before we have to go. So now I'm gonna get into my normal routine of doing a meditation, doing some visualizing, getting my clothes ready, getting all the food ready for the day. And then next thing you know, I'm heading to the course.
With just the final 4 left to go, and if you look at history, chances are it will emerge someone from there to be the U.S. Open champion.
From Denver, Colorado, please welcome Wyndham Clark.
I haven't seen any of this, by the way, so it's my first time watching it. My swing looks great.
I think this is a little bit more of an aggressive line than he wanted.
He's posing.
That won't stay on the green.
You know what's crazy about that shot and approach? I mean, I hit that about as high of a 6-iron as I could, and that looked like it had 0 chance of holding the green. John, my caddy, always jokes. He always calls it early ego. We weren't trying to go that directly at the flag, and so as we were walking off, after the shot landed and we knew it went long, he was like, early ego? And I said, yeah, a lot of ego. Green slopes from front to back, which is unique. So we knew if you go long, you have an easy chip up the hill. Typically here, I would use a 60, but in this situation, because it was into the grain, I actually used my sand wedge, which has a little more bounce. I basically kind of hit this little cut where you put the ball back and you're trying to hit a runner, but with a cut. And when you do that, you slice across the grass so that it has less friction. So the ball comes out exactly how you want.
Slow direction. Yeah, that's right. Let's see how this turns out.
It's great speed there.
What's so unique about this US Open is they pretty much gave you a birdie on the first hole. So if you didn't birdie it, you really felt like you were losing ground. So to start out with a birdie right there with the lead is huge. Before the tournament, I came a week prior to play with my buddy PJ, who's a member there, who's a good player. We went and played it, and he goes, you always go for this. And he goes, but never hit it on the green. Ideally, you want to hit it short and right. Even if it's in the rough, and even if it seems like it's not great, you're always going to have a chance to make birdie. Versus guys that try to land it on the green or lay up, he's like, that's when you make big numbers on this hole. In his mind, he was like, just play to this spot. You're a great wedge player. And from there, get up and down.
Yeah, he's going out to the right. He's trying to drive this on the front edge. He's gone for this every day.
They're asking for it to cut a little bit and not totally throw with a line, and it just didn't cut enough. It just dumps into that really heavy stuff.
The toughest shots in golf are when you have not that much green to work with and you have a lie that you don't know how it's going to come out.
Noda, what kind of lie is this for Clark?
Yeah, it's a manageable lie, Zinger, but as we've seen over the last couple of days, it's not sitting on the ground.
You know, short's not a good miss. You err on going past the hole. Had the face open, and John was like, hey, let's just give ourselves a look. We've been putting great all week. On those ones, especially with my 60, I feel like because I have so little bounce, I can actually go in and dig it out of the ground and get rid of that uncertainty of a lie. And it was one of those when Riza came out, I was like, oh yeah.
Well, that is so good right there.
It is really good.
It's funny now looking back at this and watching it, how easy maybe I made it look, but in the moment it was not that easy. This hole, honestly, I say is probably the biggest hole in the tournament for me. I knew I was probably doing well. I was like, well, no one's going to be better than 2 or 3 under through the first 6 holes. And based on the noises, I didn't hear many roars. So I was like, okay, I think we're doing good. And I hit a great tee ball. And what sucks is I was trying to hit the exact shot I hit. I just wanted to start it about 10 yards farther right. We wouldn't even be sitting here talking about this hole.
He's tugged this one. This has got to carry.
Oh, nope, that's in the barranca, and then that looks some high grass right there.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it pretty much landed up top. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's it's tough to watch. Lie was good. The only thing that was tough is I couldn't see the ball. And John, being a good caddy that he is like, hey, you know what? Birdie's kind of out of the way. Let's just get it on the green. If we make a 25-footer, 20-footer, great. If not, we get a, no harm, no foul. My mind, early ego, all ego, as John called it on that one, I thought, well, it's a good lie. I think I can pull off the shot.
You got to air long here if you're going to air somewhere, because you certainly don't want to leave this one back in that barranca.
Oh my goodness.
Right under it, Zig.
I just literally went right under the ball because I couldn't quite see the depth of where I was, and I opened the face too much.
Oh, now he's in a worse situation.
And so that's when the first time I was like, oh no. Any sort of nerves that I had early in the morning now came back. My mind started racing. I started like, oh my God, are you kidding me? What just happened? And I didn't really know where the ball went, and then we saw where it went, and now I have an even worse lie.
I think 6 would be okay at this point, considering where this ball is at.
His second shot missed by 1 yard of being fantastic. And now he is in deep trouble just trying to save bogey.
Hit it over the green, but then it goes into a bad lie as well. And so your mind does this. At this point, I don't necessarily know I'm in the lead because I didn't look at the board, but I knew I was right there. Having a great caddy there is huge because your mind starts going, oh my gosh, I should be having a birdie look here. It's a par 5, I have a 4-iron in. Now I'm trying to get up and down for bogey. I don't want to make double. My heart rate just goes through the roof, and my thoughts now are just going back and forth. The hardest thing and the thing I've learned is to slow my thinking and to really get present. The ball's sitting way down, and to be able to get that ball to come out consistently, you have to not have that much friction and have the grass affect the club. I learned this from a coach I had when I was young in high school, Craig Coy. He taught me the shot where you take a little less loft and you kind of hit this kind of diagonal, cut across, open face shot that comes out low and knuckly, but it's very predictable. And in that moment, it's kind of funny how, I practice that shot sometimes, not all the time, but my mind just instantly went, this is the shot.
This looks like a terrible lie. Hacked at it.
The short game can bail him out again.
That's nice.
It was crazy as I felt like I now had momentum going into the next hole, which sounds kind of weird that you'd say, well, you just made bogey in a par 5. How do you have momentum? For me, mentally, it's like, all right, I can do this. If that's the adversity for the day, we can keep going and I can move on. The wind predominantly comes on this hole in and off the left. I was trying to hit a tight draw to hold it up against that wind.
No, too close to the edge.
Then I miss it left, and you're like, oh, that's the only spot you can't miss it.
Yeah, and it's not great, primarily for the reason that his feet are going to be on one level, sort of closer to the bottom of the sand, and the ball's going to be a good 8 to 12 inches above that, which is really going to flatten out that shaft and want to grab that heel.
I find myself in a pretty tough spot. It was a good lie. It's just the stance was tough. If I went at the hole, I had more grass on the left side of the ball to where then it was a tougher shot, and my stance would have been tough, and it's a really short, delicate shot to where I needed height and softness, so I needed a big swing, and when you do that, you bring more margin for error if I went at the flag. But if I went left, I had less grass behind the ball, and then the lie actually became easier, so I could control the shot better. That's where I think what happened on the previous hole got me back into that slow thinking and be able to focus on the next shot at hand. I definitely pushed the limits on how high I went up on the hill.
Going to try to use this hill, but it's not going to do it.
I'm glad I didn't go any further, because it could have been a different story.
It's grabbing a little bit of the slope, Zing.
Yeah, but it's not going to get all the way down there. But it's still an excellent shot.
It's hitting better by the second. It's in the end, if he gets out of here with a 3.
It's about 6 or 8 feet closer than I thought it was going to get.
As I make the putt, I give a pretty good fist pump.
That is some save, and you can see what it meant to Clark.
Find myself on that walk going, okay, we're not going to be the guy that has a lead and fumbles and no one really talks about. And I really hunkered down here, and this was all grit on this one.
Exactly what he's tried to do, but it is not cutting.
If it stayed up top, it's a very easy up and down. But it rolls all the way down into the scariest lie you want when you're trying to hit a flop shot, which is matted down Bermuda into the grain. When people are walking off, it's like so tight. And I'm feeling the ground and feeling how firm the ground is. I almost kind of got this smile and chuckle on my face because I said, I'm about to hit a 6 shot. It was so firm, and I knew with my wedge that I have that's very like low bounce, I knew I could hit the shot. And honestly, right as it came off, if there was a mic in my head, I literally said, I made it.
Extremely difficult look here.
What a shot that was. From that tight Bermuda lie down there.
It was an amazing shot. This was probably difficulty-wise the hardest up and down I had all week. And, you know, probably, I'd say probably the best up and down of my career.
Boy, those saves at 9 and 11. If he goes on to win, he'll certainly remember those.
We get to now 17, where I just made 2 bogeys, and now it's like I just had a 3-shot lead, and now I find myself 1 shot going into the toughest hole probably on the golf course and toughest tee shot. I pipe a drive on 17. I'm sitting there as we're looking here, 186 yards, and I was really in between clubs. This is where I'm still bitter and pissed off about the shot, because I was so indecisive, because my fear was if it came up short, it would plug in that bunker, and so I kind of put a little extra into it, and I hit kind of a pull hook. So as we watch it, I don't even want to watch this. I'm like, are you kidding me?
He's pulled 5 irons on this backside.
The only good thing is I knew left of the green was okay. I then found myself in kind of my wheelhouse, which is a little bit of green to work with, and I can hit a low spinner. That's kind of one of my specialties. And that's what John told me. In any given moment, if we weren't in the US Open on the 17th hole with a 1-shot lead, you would never think twice about getting this shot up and down. And so it was a great reminder, because it got me back into like, yeah, you're right. Screw the moment. Let's just hit the shot that I know I can hit.
This shot by Clark. Oh, he's had incredible touch around the greens.
Just that whole week was so special. It just felt like I was destined to win, and you know, I hit amazing up and down shots. As much as I'd like to say I can do that anytime, I just felt like that week was my time.
Who takes down all the stars in Los Angeles to win the United States Open.
The stuff John said to me there, just that moment, oh gosh, it still gets me. Those up and downs, even making a bogey on 8, that mattered so much, because obviously I ended up winning by 1. So it's amazing how when you reflect back on a tournament, a round, even a year, how much every shot really does matter. It's funny to see it from a different perspective, because living it, you're kind of just like, all right, now we got this shot, and then, all right, now we got this shot, and you just kind of take it one shot at a time. But now that I look at it from all these, these tough spots, it is pretty remarkable what I did.